Many people are becoming increasingly frustrated by politics. It is easy to feel dejected and annoyed. The perception that politicians are failing to properly serve the people is widespread. Both those on the left and those on the right often hold this view. But what is the solution? How can we make politics better? We must change the incentives. Change the incentive structure, and the behaviour of politicians will change. If you want good representation, you need to construct incentives that encourage good representation. I suggest some reforms. A ban on big money political donations. Big money political donations incentivize politicians to prioritize the interests of their rich donors. Big money political donations incentivize politicians to prioritize the interests of the wealthy people who can fund them or their opponents. This perverse incentive ensures that ordinary people do not get proper political representation. A ban on big money donations would ensure that politicians are not beholden to the wealthy elite. This changes the incentives and improves politics. We also require a proper constitution, a constitution of supreme legal status that constrains the government. Rigid constraints on the actions of the government are a very easy way of encouraging good behaviour and discouraging bad behaviour. A strong constitution is a necessity. The government cannot be trusted to behave, its power must be limited and controlled. We also require electoral reform. We must empower third parties. We can do this with two simple policies. Lower the electoral threshold to 3%, introduce ranked choice voting in the electorates. Both of these policies would empower third parties considerably. This is good because it makes the political system more competitive. This creates a stronger incentive for good governance. If the people have more options, they are less likely to tolerate bad governance. More choices for voters means the government will be held to a higher standard. Simply being a lesser evil will not be good enough. Electoral reform is a necessity. Change the incentives, and you will change the outcomes. We must introduce bold reform to change the incentives. Politics can be very frustrating, but politics does not have to be this frustrating. We can improve things. Bold reform can easily usher in a better political environment.